You're watching Mrs. K's Healthy Eating Channel, and we're here to help you to eat well and get cooking. Welcome back to our practical session for session 6 on our sugar topic. Right, we've washed hands, washed down the surfaces, prepared everything ready for our practical. Right, so the reason I've chosen flapjacks is not because it's particularly low in sugar or anything, but what I was trying to say to you is trying to make things healthier that we used to eat, so being sugar savvy. Okay, and I also spoke to you about these flapjack looking cereal bars that one could buy, and I thought, well, that a lot of cereal bars are basically made with oats. So, and I love the way they advertise 100% whole grain oats. Well, if you just buy some porridge oats, just a very simple, inexpensive bag of porridge oats which says natural whole grain rolled oats. So just be careful of being tricked, because most porridge oats are whole grain rolled oats. So we're going to measure out our ingredients. Now, this recipe does call for butter, melted butter. Now I'm going to use it today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to experiment with seeing if we can swap this butter for oil and if the flapjacks work as well. I'm not going to do it for today, but I'm going to do another sugar session for you, and I will experiment with the sunflower oil and see how well it works, because the ingredients in here say they use sunflower oil. So I want to see how well it works and if I can get it to work, and then I'll put it up for you. So we're going to melt butter, sugar and syrup. Now, first of all, using syrup for me is a complete no-no. I used to use syrup, now I won't touch syrup. This syrup is not really going to be used in my household, so I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to choose a different sort of syrup. So I'm going to use maple syrup. Maple syrup, on the list of syrups of being graded healthier to very unhealthier, maple syrup is really high up on the list. Coconut sugar is high up on the list. Okay, so I am going to choose healthier sugars. So I'm going to weigh out, I need 125 grams of butter. So let's have a look and see if I can get that in. That's 126, how's that? Right, so I'm going to cut that into cubes so that it's easier to melt. And I am using butter rather than margarine, because in terms of fats, this is a more natural fat than margarine. Okay, now we need 100 grams of coconut sugar. Now I have reduced the sugar on this recipe because, as I said to you, we need to find ways of weaning ourselves off very sweet things. So a good way to start is in your recipes to start reducing your sugar, say by 20 grams every time you cook, or 10 grams, get down to. But always keep reducing the sugar in recipes where you can. And you can do that with flapjacks. So I've got 100 grams of coconut sugar and 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Yes, I know maple syrup is expensive. Honey, you could use honey. Honey is better than syrup as well. Honey is also quite high up on the list, but in fact, maple syrup is better even than honey. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my cooker just to melt. Now we don't want to burn it, we just want to melt it. And let's get that going. So I'm going to leave that to melt and come and check on it. Use my wooden spoon to stir it, because the last thing we want to do is to burn the sugar. So we're just going to let that melt together. And don't put it on a high heat, keep it on a medium to low heat. So I've got mine on number 4. And just keep checking on it. Don't let the butter bubble away. Right, okay. Flapjacks are really easy. Very few ingredients are needed. No mixers are needed. It's an easy thing to do. And of course, we know how good these oats are from session 2. Right, so we're going to need 250 grams of oats. Good old whole grain oats, 250 grams of oats, which are slow release sugars. These are full of, remember, soluble fibre, which keeps us full for longer. So if you're going to be having a sweet snack with your coffee or your tea, better to choose something that has got healthy ingredients so that you're not eating empty food, empty calories. Well, you're eating calories, but there's no goodness involved. That's what we want to try and make sure we do. Everything we eat, we make sure we've got health benefits from it. And we know that our porridge oats do exactly that. Now, the other thing I want to say is, it's easy enough to go and buy these, but whenever we buy anything that is made, these things have got to have good shelf lives. If they don't have a decent shelf life, then they'll just go off in the shops, and that wouldn't be good for us. So they have to add lots of additives. That's why I have always, for my children, I've always managed to bake my own things. Whatever you do, if you can, bake at home and make your own food. It's always going to be better for your family than buying ready-made foods. Let's go and have a look at our butter melting here. Yeah, melting nicely. It's not going too fast because we don't want to burn the sugar. Let's keep that going. Now, we've got this basic flapjack recipe. But you know, it doesn't have to just be these 4 ingredients, sugar, butter and oats. We could make flapjacks healthier. For example, let's go back to our weighing out area. I love coconut. So I would always add a little bit of coconut. You could add seeds and nuts. Now, we've already looked at how important these are in our diet. They give the flapjacks crunch. You don't taste them, but these are high in your omega-3 and omega-6 oils and very high in fibre. So we've got seeds. You could opt for something like chia seeds. I buy this. I've nearly finished this whole bag. This bag of chia seeds, they're funny little seeds. They're very, very tiny little seeds, and there's certainly no big seed to crunch, and you wouldn't even know they were in your food because they are so tiny and so ground down. It's like ground seeds, and these will add so much goodness. What do they say they're high in? If you look at these, high in fibre, high in omega-3, and high in protein. So you're adding all that to your snack. So if you're going to put a sweet snack in a lunchbox, far better to have something with these added ingredients than buying one of those bars. And these you can buy to suit, you can have whatever you want. So really good idea to add something like that. And actually I am going to add these to my flapjacks. I'm going to take a tablespoon. I'm going to measure it properly with a tablespoon. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of these seeds. You don't taste them, you don't see them, but they are adding so much to your snack. Let's go back and have a look at our butter. Right, it's all melted, so we can finish that off. It's all melted. Let's go back with our sugar, butter and maple syrup are all mixed in. Nice smooth brown mixture, and we're going to add that to our flapjacks, our oats here. Right, there we go. So our oats need to be coated with the warmed up melted butter. And I'm going to try the oil. The trouble with oil in these is that it may not stick together after it's been cooked. That was my only worry. So I'm quite happy to do that and see if it does work, because we want to be able to cut our flapjacks into bars and be able to pick them up. We don't just want a crumbled mixture. So that is my one reservation about using the oil. But as you know, as we learn more about food, we will be constantly experimenting and trying out new things, and that's what I love to do in my kitchen. I love to experiment and add things. And sometimes they don't work, but more often than not they do. Okay, so that's nicely mixed in, and now I'm going to pour it into my tray, which I prepared. It's all cleaned. You could put some greaseproof paper in there. I'm not going to worry about greasing it because there's quite a lot of butter in here. But I'm going to pour my flapjacks into this dish. It doesn't make a large quantity, so you could easily double up. And as you can see, this is quite a big tray. You can't actually see any sign of the seeds. It's and now my oven has been ready on 180 degrees, so warming up, ready for my flapjacks. You can use it, try and press them down. I always say sometimes to the children, use the palm of your hand to press them down. You need to have your oats nicely pressed. They don't fit the whole tin completely, and I don't want them too thin, so I'm actually not going to spread them out in the whole tin. So you can see you could easily double up on this, and you could add raisins. One thing I would ask you not to add, and that's chocolate chips, because that defeats the object. Or the children always say to me, "Can we add chocolate chips?" And I say no, because it's not what I would like to encourage you to eat. Okay, so there we go, nice and smooth, flattened down, a lovely colour, and that's it. So easy to do, so quick and easy, and just pop them in the oven. And if I was making this for the family, I would definitely double up or have 2 trays in the oven, and just because they actually keep for quite a while in a sealed container, a good 2-3 weeks, they'll stay lovely and crisp. Okay, so I'm going over to my oven, and I'm going to pop them in. Doesn't matter, again, what shelf you use in your fan oven. In a gas oven, make sure you use it on the top shelf. So I'm just going to, Alexa, set the alarm for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Right, so that's on for 20 minutes, and I'll see you when the flapjacks are ready. Thank you. Right, welcome back. I've now cleaned up, surfaces are clean, dishes are washed during those 20 minutes, and Alexa alarm is telling me that it's now time to have a look at them. Alexa, stop. Right, let's have a look. Don't forget your oven gloves, not a tea towel. Alexa, stop. Right, these look lovely and browned on the edges, so I think they are ready. So I'm going to turn off my oven. Right, and I'm going to bring them to my surface. Now, something that often children at school say to me is, "But Miss, they're still soft." Well, actually, biscuits, cookies, these sorts of things are going to come out of the oven soft. They don't come out hard. They become hard when they cool down. So what we need to do is, and also you don't want to cut them once they're hard because then they're more brittle. So we do want to cut them into bars when they are still hot. So you make sure you safely hold your hot tin with your oven glove. and we'll cut them very carefully into cereal size bars, like that, and they are still very, very soft, so they can just be gentle with your knife through it. And I'm going to cut them in half, so I've got my good size cereal bar. Okay, now these are obviously going to cool down. Once they cool down, I'm going to take this out while it's still hot and put it on my plate just to show you what it's going to look like. A beautiful color. Can't see any chia seeds in there, you would never know they are, and that is going to be a much healthier sugary snack rather than the old way of making flapjacks with syrup and white sugar. So I hope you will give this a try. Remember, we can't just get rid of sugar altogether. I'm not saying that, but we need to start reducing it in every way that we can. And we're going to keep learning about reducing that sugar and getting that need for sugary snacks down. I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and I'll see you again next time for a closer and more in-depth look at sugar and how we can replace it. Bye-bye.